All right, Cyber Traders, welcome on back here this Monday, August 15th, the Ides of August. Great to see John, Grant, Mike, and all of us live inside the Cyber Group room, Leda and Phil included, who are just joining us right now there. Great to see all of you folks. Of course, great to see all of us back on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. Folks, a lot to get to. I feel like I always say that. That's because there typically is always a lot to get to. So we are continuing the Phase 1 stock course later on today, right at 3:05 Eastern Time. There we go. Rich, always timely with that link for at least all of us inside the live trading room. For students like Alex, Norman, Michael, Phil, Leda, we're going to be continuing our conversation that we had from this morning, from the first lesson. We were going over basic tradable and not tradable. But now we're going to talk about scanning the market. Like, how is the secret sauce made? How does it, how are the afternoon and morning and pre-market even watch lists built? So that's what we're going to cover. Now, one little free tip for all of us here, for all of us in social media, a little free game for the day. For any stock at this time of the day that's, near the highs, at the highs, or the lows for that matter, we're going to be more keen to put on our afternoon list. Now, there's more to it than that, but that leads me to what's on the screen. Good old Bed Bath Beyond. I'm starting to count my chickens, folks, for John and Warren and Mike and Phil and Norman. I wrote that just earlier inside the trading room. Listen, I closed 2/3 of my position that I'm still in. I closed 2/3 of it out just before under 15.11. Seems like I left a ton on the table. Well, just to go over this trade very briefly, we have to be efficient with time here for this meeting, but this was a nightmare of a trade, but actually, if you had your levels prepped up before the market opened up, this could have been your best friend. I just expected this type of run way earlier in the morning. So even as it was bouncing off of 14, I left a ton on the table as it rounded up and came back down. But this thing was hitting like my levels perfectly today. 1438 or 1338, I should say. 1380, that was a huge support level. 14 and 1408 together acted as a big base just heading into noontime. And now this thing is rocking and rolling. I am in from 1452 on this position. I still have a third of my total share count left. But where I say that I'm beginning to now count my chickens on this trade, let's look at the daily chart. And with that, you may even need to flip this into a weekly to be efficient with time here. Ended up calling bottom off 1338 as that was a historical level from the daily chart. I'm just going to quickly slap this line here, but that's at 18, we'll call it. Basically at 18 bucks. We're going to have our next major resistance was holding underneath there after a big gap down back from October. And then from there, it was holding pretty damn nicely. Resistance, support, resistance again. Wouldn't shock me, folks. So for right now, even now more than ever, I'm going to put this Bed Bath Beyond trade on our watch list here. Alex in from 1544. Chuck just closed out, I guess, one of his trades. He still has two more working. So, listen, it's just in and out. I mean, you're just scaling out at this point. So, I just considered all one trade, right? Chuck's in from 1515. He got out at 1597. He has some other shares left. Hey, congrats to all so far on this stock. I'm going to keep this on my other side screen as I peruse through the gainers and losers list here coming up. Obviously, a big shake, and I may just clock out and take the money. But this type of uptrend and after how much of a headache this stock initially gave us, and for the position that we're in right now, if you're in from 15, God bless. If you're in from 15 like Chuck, God bless. For 1450 or even lower than that, God, you have a good cushion to work with here to endure a shake or two. So even if this drops back below 16. Oh no, I just make less money. It's like at this point, we're well into the money here, folks. Let's just manage it respectably well. You don't want to give it all back. So, let's see what this could do. Let's see if it can maintain its trend here. Now, let's go from top to bottom otherwise, though. LTRPB, this is like a funky name. I haven't looked at this stock today, but if you look at the daily chart, you could see where I'm saying it's pretty funky. So thing ended up making this huge pop seemingly back from the end of July into August. Came all the way back down, and I guess a big pop today, but this is untradeable. This is not tradable just at all. Zero. So I'm going to move on from this. You have a better chance at winning the World Series of Poker than making money on that trade. INKT, well, better odds on this stock. Definitely tradable. Little thin on the order book. Bit of a spread at times, but right near the high still. So I like this trade. INKT. I don't think I've ever traded this stock before. So once I had called it out off the initial pop, especially the more that you're in this trading room, the more that you've been around the block with us and you see a stock that we've never really traded before or called out, you expect for it to be like a small cap, pop and drop type of play. And you got to watch out when the volume dies off. Thankfully, even when the volume's died off on the stock, it's been holding strong in its trend. So that's setting itself up for a pretty interesting scenario here heading into the afternoon. All right, so John Killett on the MEGL trade. I guess this had to have made its big move when I was making my move from New York to Florida over the last week and a half, because, yeah, back from, I guess, August 5th when I was out, ended up making this big pop off its IPO, and then three trading days later, ended up completely tanking. I missed out on that altogether. So with that, it ended up making a bit of a dead cat bounce today, right? I mean, for what it's worth, as much as it pumped and then dumped, nice move from 8 up to 18 yearly. You can't complain too much with that, right? So, could it push up higher? Perhaps. And for right now, I don't mind putting it on our list, but it looks like the volume is beginning to die off a little bit more and more across the last hour and a half here. So, I'd be really careful about a big shakedown. Alex, who was in from 1544, clocked out, took some profit at least, so you might still have some shares left, but got out just now at 1624 on that Bed Bath Beyond position. Excellent. We keep it going. We keep it moving, folks. And hey, I may as well say this now, like I did from the morning meeting. Just hey, coming up tomorrow, especially for those of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, we're going to be doing an exclusive workshop called Traders Talk Live on our YouTube channel, that being youtube.com/cybertradingyou. Of course, if you were Alex, if you were Grant, Norman, Chuck, any one of us inside our live trading room, you don't need to go there. It's going to be a simulcast. So, just be in the trading room as normal. You'll be good to go. But every now and then, a couple times across the calendar year, I like to do this for all of us together on social media as well. So, just join us on YouTube tomorrow, that being youtube.com/cybertradingyou. I'll post my email at the end of the stream for any questions that you may look to send over for us to answer collectively tomorrow live. But for right now, we keep it going. The TISI stock, this is a big tease of a stock. This TISI ended up making a big pop in pre-market, dumped off. And when you look to see this make a bounce, it did make one bounce, like one respectable bounce here pretty much. This was breaking lower at the time. I did have a support in mind off 145, so it did break back above 145. I know one of our students, Warren S, I believe, ended up jumping in that at 144. He had a great trade. I ended up getting 6 cents on mine. I was in from 146 out at 52. I think Warren got out at 57 on that one. That was a beautiful grab from him. But now at this point, this is very flat. I'm going to pass on this here at this stage. Bed Bath still at 1628 and rolling, so I'm still in on the last third of my position. ILAG, that's right. I forgot about this one. ILAG ended up making a pretty good push today, as you could see. After the market opened up from breaking over 3, ran all the way up towards the high of off of 440, 439. Again, when the volume dies off, though, that's what you got to watch out for on that MEGL trade, at least. Another one, REV, from earlier today. I mean, geez, this one came back from the dead, so to say, right? Ended up making this big pop for us back at the end of July. Ran for us beautifully back then. I think even before that, right here. So for the time it spent pulling back, dropping off, we didn't expect this today. Just out of nowhere, late morning even, ended up just exploding from like 650, 675 upwards towards like 920. Listen, it's still quote unquote tradable. It's trading good volume per minute. It's building a little support here. Perhaps you could say it's not completely flat. I don't have a specific need to put this on our list just yet. That MEGL, at least for right now, I have that on our list. That one's pretty crazy in its own right. If this shows more signs of life by the end of this meeting, then that's different. But let's see if there's anything looking stronger now here in the moment. I mean, the market is pushing up at the highs right now. So I would imagine for there to be a lot of things moving upward here. But right now, you got the Smile Direct Club trade. I just landed on this. Actually, like my thought process in the moment, obviously I wasn't speaking it just there, but I look at SDC, I'm like, $2.12. I'm like, when was the last time that was $2.12? I click and then bam, this thing obviously just broke out right in our face here. So yeah, Smile Direct Club definitely goes on the top of our watch list. It's breaking above the high from last week, from last Thursday, I believe that was. CGC, you got a pot stock here. RYTM, former runner. Wow, this thing ran again. I don't think anyone called this one out even. RYTM, and taking a look at the daily chart, we took our eyes off this one for a little while. This thing's been a better swing trade than it has been a day trade even. Obviously, today took off pretty nicely. That CGC trade could be compelling. I'll come back to that at the end. You know, the pot stocks, if they're all kind of moving pretty strongly here at this point, those have also been teases, though, as well in the past. TNXP from earlier today had called out the pot, more of a level 1 trade, but not a whole lot going on right now. So, looks like it died off. Bed Bath Beyond, for those counting at home, keeping score at home, we're at 1664 and counting. Obviously, that's already on our list. We talked about that for any one of us just joining this meeting late, but let's keep it going, folks. 1671, 1672, 1673. I'm kidding. No, it's actually pushing up pretty nicely still. So let's hop over to the loser side here, and then we'll just jump back, see if there's anything else here at the end. But otherwise, IDYA, I don't know what happened here, but huge drop. Obviously, very flat here for the moment. So I'm not as keen to put this on our watch list right now. If it was dropping off a little bit better, if it was even recovering at some point, just showing any signs of life with the trend, I'd be pretty interested. But let's see what else we got. Got a bunch of stuff hard to borrow. Also, with the market up as much as it is here once again today, whether it breaks higher or not, you just wouldn't expect for there to be a whole lot on the loser side here at this point, right? So TRQ is actually on the top of the losers list earlier today. Dead cat bounce early on this morning. So for what it's worth, it actually was a pretty decent day trade there, but I pass on it right now at this point. Like, the other one, pretty flat. 23andMe, I'm going to pass on this here too. And that just about wraps it up, folks. So again, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, we're not done yet, but just wanted to make mention of this once more. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing our live Traders Talk workshop, and that's a better link right there. For all of us live in this meeting right now, this Monday, August 15th, click the link that is posted in the actual chat board, and then that will take you right there to our workshop. But just join us tomorrow on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. Subscribe right to our YouTube channel so you know when we're going live exactly. Obviously, it's at 11 o'clock, but that will keep you reminded. And that's your little calendar right there. So you can click subscribe right from that point. But collectively, for all of us inside the live trading room, let me know if there's anything else that I may have missed. Up, down, left, right, more than 5%. And then again, for all of us on YouTube, same to be said. If there's anything that I missed or anything that you want me to look at, just type it in the chat board here. Just call it out. Touched upon that SDC trade. Yehuda probably called it out right as I turned over to it. So that was very timely for us to check in on that SDC trade there as it was popping. Just jumping to Benzinga Pro briefly here myself, just seeing if there's anything that looks like kind of respectable. Don't need to build a big list here, folks. We got just enough here. These four: SDC, Bed Bath Beyond, that INKT trade, MEGL. Party City looking kind of interesting here. Not just on the intraday, but look at the daily chart. It's approaching some big resistance there based off the gap down it had from like April, May time, whatever that was. But pretty interesting trade, Party City. The issue on it is that it has like a bunch of liquidity for it to try and break through if it wants to make this continuated push. So I'm going to slip this on the back end of our list here. We'll make the cut, but I like the others a little bit more so far. It looks good. Nice level 1 stock, good trend. REV, just jumping back to the side list, the proverbial side list here. It's not really doing a whole lot since. CGC is pretty strong. It would be hard for us to ignore CGC. Pot ETF altogether. MJ, it's just kind of coiling up near the highs. Tilray, it's just kind of lingering there. CGC looks the best so far. Pot stock SNDL, we did really nicely on this one earlier today, but obviously this one fell off, really dropped off quite a bit compared to everything else. I don't mind slipping that CGC on our main list for right now, though. Canopy Growth, we're pretty familiar with this stock too, much like we are with Tilray. There we go, folks. Perfect. Let me just jump back to Bed Bath Beyond, just show you what the chart looks like before we wrap up. I will just be very transparent with all of us inside the live trading room, at least. We're not trading the stock in phase one in beginner class. If you want to trade, do not be in class later today, folks. Trade. If you're looking to be a student and join us for class, look to get out of your positions before 3:05 Eastern time. I will set the precedent. So I will make sure I'm out of this position before class begins, regardless if it pops up higher. Can care less if it pops up higher afterwards. Last thing you want to have happen is just split your focus, split your attention span, and for this to make a big shakedown when you're not looking. So that's where I say by 3 o'clock, 3:05, I'm out. I'm going to be teaching. All right, folks. Rob at the end here with Mara. Ooh, I forgot about Mara. This isn't looking good at all right now. Remember, you want to follow a stock that's just at or near the highs or the lows. We just said that before. We're going to be teaching that in class coming up at 3:05 Eastern, Rob. I'd look forward to seeing you there alongside Grant and all of us live. Again, we're going to talk more about this as far as how we look to scan the market. I would not expect Mara to make such a big pop out of nowhere, at this point. All right, folks, but not a bad list altogether. Listen, if you're not joining me in class, best of luck trading here heading into the market close. But for those of us joining me, I look forward to seeing you in just about 13 or so minutes. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it today.